Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones chat, season 6, episode 5, The Door. I am Hodor, and I'm Unsullied. I have not read the books in the series Song of Ice and Fire by George R. R. Martin.
And I'm Hodor, and I'm double solid because I've read the books twice.
Hodor.
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 What an episode.
Yes, but let's start at the beginning instead of at the Hodor.
Let's start before the beginning because we have iTunes reviews.
Okay, let's go to before the beginning.
Yes,
let's go back in time.
Go on iTunes and review this show and give it a rating. Please give us your honest rating. If that rating is 5 stars, we'll be amazed. But we also like feedback on what we can improve and stuff. So I'm going to read these iTunes reviews here, and I intend to do that in the future as well. If we get a lot of them, I'll do it at the end. The first one is from Vanessa the Magnificent. She says, "Thank you guys for creating this podcast. I enjoy listening. You're very logical about your analysis of each episode. Love it."
Great, thank you. Thank you so much, Vanessa the Magnificent.
Thank you, Vanessa. I was thinking about that. We are really logical and try to go deep, and I think that differentiates us a bit. We have one more. It's from Avery61. He says, "Love Game of Thrones and love this podcast. Keep up the great work. You have a fan in me." Thank you, Avery.
Thank you, Avery61.
Okay, The Door. Let's do it.
Yes, so we start here with Sansa.
Or do we have to start there? Yeah, we do.
Well, I'm going through this from start to end. Logically, that's what I'm supposed to do, right?
Yes.
Right, Vanessa?
Before you say anything else, I'm going to argue that this is the stupidest scene I've ever seen in any TV series ever. But okay, go on.
I think I know what you're talking about, but yeah, she gets a letter, and it's first I was struggling there to figure out, is this what's the sigil there? But apparently it's from Littlefinger, so it's his sigil.
Yeah,
it looks like a mockingbird. Yeah. Although, I mean, when I think of his weapon shield, he has lots of little mockingbirds, but here is just one mockingbird, so they make it a little bit different in the show. But anyway, the letter says that he's in Mole Town.
Yes.
Which is just south of the wall.
Yes.
And he's there. And, of course, what you're thinking is, how the heck did he get there in one episode?
Well, I think it's now official that Littlefinger has a means of teleportation. Because this is the most implausible travel he has ever done.
Yeah, I think so too.
In season 2, you could argue that he had like a team of fast horses or something, or like courier stations with fresh horses, and he could get around the Riverlands really fast.
Yeah.
But now he's traveling over half the world.
Yeah. Well, half of Westeros.
A distance similar to Rome to Stockholm.
Yeah.
Ahead of his troops, through enemy territory, past Winterfell.
Yeah.
Right amidst the people he wants to attack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's break this down. What do you think was in the letter?
Some kind of message from him saying that he wanted to talk to her.
Meet me in Molestown is what we get from the letter. It looked much longer than that. But So what does he say to his troops? He has managed to get to Moat Cailin, and he is probably playing out the Tullis against the Freys. He's sort of on both sides there, so he can get past with the Knights of the Whale to Moat Cailin.
Yeah.
And then he says to the troops, "Wait here, I have to go on a special mission. It's going to take 2 months, and you just have to stick around here and do nothing." He arrives here to this meeting.
Yeah.
And why, in God's name, is he there? What is his plan?
Okay, first off, I think that the first thing I thought was, okay, so he went off on his helicopter or TARDIS or whatever, and he sent his troop to Moat Cailin. So he didn't go with his troop to Moat Cailin first and then fly away from there.
Sense. Not much, but a little.
So he's just he's calculating that they're probably at Moat Cailin right now. but he's traveling much faster. But still, for him to get the troops to Moat Cailin, that's really fast. But of course, maybe he was really close to. I mean, the Vale is a big place. It could have been much closer to. It could have been fairly close to Moat Cailin, or it could be very far away from Moat Cailin when it was the last episode in Runestone.
Can they get to Moat Cailin without passing Riverrun? Yeah. Okay, good.
And they could get there without passing. I mean, they don't have to cross the river, the Frey River, you know. Okay. The Green Fork.
Could go by boat, or they could walk around.
But I mean, you remember that. The Green Fork is running basically north to south.
Okay.
And the Vale is east of the Green Fork of the Trident.
Okay.
So they just go. They're east of the river, and then they will go up to Moat Cailin. They never have to cross the Green Fork, if I remember correctly.
Okay, that sounds better. And we could perhaps argue that Littlefinger has come to Molestown with boat. So he has a really fast ship that took him to Molestown.
Okay, so then we have to place Molestown then on the.
No, he went to the nearest coast. Or something.
On the east coast then of. So Castle Black is on the east coast, not in the middle of the land.
No, it would still take several weeks, but perhaps not a month. But that's not my point right now, because my point right now is, why is he there? What is the goal of Littlefinger in this meeting with Sansa? Why does he feel this meeting is necessary?
Well, he's not going there to apologize.
Obviously not, but that's all he does.
No, that's not all he does.
What else does he do?
He grudgingly gives her information that he pretends that he doesn't really want to give her, but he actually wants to give her that information.
Okay, so he couldn't put it on the letter, because then it wouldn't be grudgingly.
Yeah. I mean, he has a plan. He's not. I mean, he's thinking about what he wants other people to. Whenever he does something, tells somebody something, he has a plan how he wants that information to affect that person.
Yes. So now he wants Sansa to send the message to the Blackfish at Riverrun.
Yeah. And we don't know if Brynden the Blackfish has retaken Riverrun or whatever.
Okay.
We don't. Maybe he's just. Maybe he's trying to induce some other reaction from her.
Yeah, like what?
Like she will send away Brienne to Riverrun spontaneously. I don't know.
So distrust in Jon, perhaps?
Yeah, perhaps. Or maybe make them more offensive instead of hanging out at the wall. They think, we can get help from the Riverrun, so they're going to go there or something.
Okay, I'm going to change my mind. This is not the stupidest scene ever. It's just stupid.
Well, because Sansa says you're either ignorant or evil. Basically, she says to Littlefinger, because we see that she talks about how bad Ramsay was to her.
Yes,
and
great acting on Sophie Turner's part here.
Yeah, but then you think, okay, so is Littlefinger that clueless? I mean, he's perfectly evil enough to subject her to torture, sure, if he thinks that it fits his purposes.
Yes.
It is possible that he's ignorant enough. If this was the books, I would say no. Of course he knows. He knows everything about everybody. But in the TV show, I'm not so sure.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah. So when there's Littlefinger, there's always more than meets the eye. So I don't really know what's going on here.
Okay. Scene begrudgingly forgiven.
Yeah. Somehow.
But now the rest of the episode is great. Let's go on.
So we see Arya and the Waif playing with staffs, fighting each other, and we see that Arya is doing okay, but the Waif is clearly better than her.
People have been complaining about this House of Black and White thing, that it's going on for too long. We just see Arya being beat up. But I must say, I love this. I love the choreography of this scene. I could take another couple of episodes watching Arya get beat up by the Waif. It's great. Yeah,
I totally agree with you. And I don't think that she should become a super ninja master overnight. That wouldn't make any sense at all.
No, so I'm still with this plot. And then we get some information.
Yeah, none born to lords have been faceless men. So, and we learned, or you're thinking about the fact that they're saying that the faceless men founded Bravos.
Yeah, we get the origin of the faceless man.
Yeah.
Cool.
One guy started figuring this out, and then it taught other.
Yes.
If that's the truth, then there's more than one faceless man.
Yeah. The numbers are an interesting question. Maybe they are down on their luck and they are down to 2 now because we really never see 3.
Maybe they don't only need 2.
That seems a dangerous way of going extinct.
Well, if they're gods, I mean, yeah, we only see 2, but there could be like lots of them out there in the world doing deeds.
That will be a super efficient scene if we see like 20 suddenly.
Yeah.
So
An army.
I want to see that.
Yeah, but you won't. You'll think they're just regular people.
Of course, but maybe if they hang around in the house of black and white and look important.
Okay.
They're faceless men.
And they kill people.
Yes.
Okay, so and then we see that Arya gets another mission and she goes to see a play, and this is an awesome play.
This is fantastic.
It's like a recap of the first few seasons.
Yeah, it's season 1 and 2 stuff, perhaps just 1.
Maybe. Well,
maybe
don't
it continues,
see.
But I think it's season 1, right? No, it was the marriage between Tyrion and Sansa, and that's much later.
Yeah. So that part is much later. So they pick and choose, but it's mostly season 1, I'd say.
Great recap. I was very surprised that it was Richard E. Grant playing the manager and Robert Baratheon in this play.
Because Richard E. Grant is...
It's a very good actor that I like a lot. So
okay, and people seem to like him. I like the play. It's
it
awesome.
was really fun. I actually was in one play like this, medieval rhyme play at one time. So this was extra fun. But I'm disappointed at Arya because she is absolutely not no one here. She's reacting immediately. She doesn't even try to keep any cool. She just, this is bad. This was not how it was.
Yeah, I was waiting for her to like stand up and start screaming, that's wrong, or something.
She has no mask at all.
Yeah. No poker face. Of course, it's hard for us. I mean, they have to not give her a poker face because otherwise, how would we know that she's not okay with it?
I think we would understand it. I think it would have been cool if she was just stone faced.
Okay. Can you hear that?
Is there a robot in your room?
I guess so. I think they're drilling or something.
Okay. Let's ignore it and continue.
Okay. Let's hope it stops. Okay, and so her mission is then to kill Lady Crane, who is playing Cersei.
Yes.
And in the next scene, we see Jack and Hagar is washing a corpse and talking to Arya about this.
Yes.
And Arya is trying to figure out why should I do this? Because Arya is still on the track that she should only kill bad people.
Yeah.
But Jack is like, no, well, it does. I mean, the faceless man comes for everybody, or death comes for everybody, whatever he says. It's not, it doesn't work like that, and the price is paid, he says, suggesting that somebody has paid money or a favor or something.
Yes. And so far we have seen the faceless men only kill bad people, pretty much.
Yeah, that's the impression we got, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. But this person, maybe Lady Crane is a horrible person.
That would be hard to tell.
Yeah.
They got so much screen time, these actors, even after their show. So
yeah.
I start to think that all of them are important.
Oh yeah, so you think that maybe this will be a recurring thing, that she will go there and you will see more play? I will be fine with that.
But I want more play.
Yeah. All work and no play is no fun.
Do you think it would count if that this somehow relates to Arya's list? That she is supposed to kill Cersei, and now she actually gets to kill a Cersei?
I think she can see the difference. But it would be more fun if she was sent to kill Sansa.
Yes, or herself.
Or herself, yeah.
Arya,
go kill Arya. A girl has no name, but a girl will kill Arya.
Okay, time to go north of the wall.
Yes, we have Bran and Three-Eyed Raven. They're out and again surfing the web, so to say.
The roots.
They're surfing the roots, yeah. And what we see here is Children of the Forests. They are inserting dragon glass obsidian into a human and creating a White Walker.
Yes, they are in fact creating the Night King. It's the same actor that plays the Night King.
They're creating the Night King then, and we have seen the Night King create White Walkers earlier.
Yes, so there's a lot of magic in that dragon glass.
Yeah, and maybe that's why they're subjectable to dragon glass, because that's what they're made from or something. I'm not sure, but this is a big reveal. This is not something we know from the books. This is just show stuff. So we think that this is also the way it's going to be in the books, but we'll have to see about that.
It's a super big reveal, and I was really surprised to see it in the middle of the episode. I was like, why didn't they finish with this?
This must be the biggest thing in this episode, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Maybe not, but it's a huge reveal, and it's not the first time we see this in fiction, that you create something to protect you and then it turns back on you and start hurting you instead.
And of course, this makes the White Walkers a little grey. They are not like I always thought they were like a natural force of evil in some way.
Mm-hmm.
But they were created to fight men, and then they turned on the Children of the Forest at some point.
I felt that they made the Children of the Forest more evil.
Yeah, they definitely made the Children of the Forest more evil. They looked really evil.
Yeah.
Compare that to the way Leaf looked in season 4 finale.
Maybe that's why they changed them, but they should have known that before then, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
Did you
But
recognize the location?
It looked like it was outside where they are now. Where they were then.
I was wondering about that, and I was thinking that the tree where the Three-Eyed Raven lives didn't have those stones outside, right?
Yeah, but I thought it was another weirwood that was just next to it.
Was there? I was thinking about this location where it's really getting created.
So we see, this place, it has a bunch of runestones and then a weirwood tree in the middle. First, I kind of thought that this was the weirwood tree where Bran is under, but then I figured, no, that's not it. It's probably another weirwood tree somewhere else.
Yeah, these runestones are in the same spiral formation as the corpses in the pilot of the whole series. And the corpses of the horses from the battle at the Fist of the First Man.
Yes,
so this
it's a special...
like some ancient symbol of magic.
Origami something, yeah. Okay, we'll return to this later, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's go to the King's Moat.
Yeah, the King's Moat.
Where the High Priest there, I call him Dampere because that's what he's called in the book. Books. So Yara here speaks well for her case. Yeah. And then everybody looks to Theon. It's like, oh, you're going to claim the throne here, but he speaks up for Yara. So they have a very good case, but then Euron comes in and gives some much better speech and has a much better case, and he has a happy stick to back it up with. And tradition, the fact that they have never elected a woman as ruler before.
Yeah, and it seems like the King's Moat is its purpose is to get people to cheer as loudly as possible, and then you become king.
Mm-hmm. But I was really disappointed with this scene.
This is very shortened from the books, right?
Yeah, they took out like 90%. There were more candidates, blatant bribery, reveals about the background, and other stuff that I'm not going to go into here. So just read the books, people. This is a really good reason to read the books because it's so much more interesting.
I think this scene looked a bit like if I would have done it. Like, this is dress up in your live role-playing gear and show up at some location. There are no buildings. There's no nothing. Everybody's just standing there. You don't know who anybody is.
Uh-huh.
And Euron looked so much cooler on the bridge than he did now.
Yeah, but it still looks so much cooler than Theon or Yara, at least by the Iron Island style. Yeah.
I like they're like, okay, Euron is gonna be our king, let's baptize him, and then nobody notices like 10,000 people sneaking away with Yara.
What's going on there? I was surprised that they didn't do any like cardiopulmonary recitation or resuscitation or anything. That's what they do in the books. They drown people. Their baptizing is drowning people, and then they bring them back to life with this, like, you know, how they move their arms back and forth and try to push out the water. They just left him there. Like, let's see if he survives.
Yeah, and he shouldn't survive, right?
I think he shouldn't survive, but apparently he's in really good shape because he just gets up and starts walking away.
And I was like, they tried to create suspense with the music, and I was like, well, if he dies here, it would be so incredibly bad. So of course he won't die.
But Theon and Yara seemed convinced that he should. So Theon and Yara leaves, taking all the ships with them. So apparently they calculated that Euron would survive his baptizing anyway.
Yeah, very wise. I complain a lot in TV series about the people don't make rational choices, but Theon and Yara are very rational here. They are acting really fast, doing the right thing. Good.
Grabbing all the ships. So Euron says to his people, "Okay, go back home and build 1,000 ships, and these will be ready next episode, which will be like 2.5 years from now or something."
They have no trees, right?
It looked like there was like no trees there, but there must be some trees somewhere, or else they can't build any ships.
Yeah, that was surprising. I also like Euron's plan that he had.
Yeah, it was more thought out than Yara's.
Yeah, do you think that Euron actually burned the fleet in Marine?
Time-wise, let's forget about time-wise. It that could be.
It could have been an agent of his doing it on his order at a certain time or something.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely possible. I mean, he doesn't back from doing anything. He might have killed Theon and Yara if they would have still been there. And, I mean, he blatantly admitted that he killed Balon.
Yeah, and then he wants to kill more kin, so...
Yeah. I mean, this is... In the books, there's a saying, no man is so accursed as a kinslayer. And you don't kill your own kin. Jaime Lannister is very adamant about this. Whenever someone slurs on the kinslayer thing, he's like, I'm a kingslayer, not a kinslayer.
Okay.
He thinks it's very important.
But
Euron...
his cousin in that cage.
What's that? Come again?
Jaime still killed his cousin in that cage.
Yeah, so then he's a kinslayer anyway, but he doesn't do that in the books.
Okay, so on to the next scene.
Okay, next scene we have Dany and Daario and Jorah. Yes. And they're saying goodbye. Jorah says he has to leave because he has grayscale. He doesn't want to give grayscale to Dany. We don't even know if that would affect her. But better safe than sorry, I guess.
I guess so. I think this is a great scene. Great acting by all three people.
Mm-hmm.
Dorian Harris was doing some faces during this. And
she commands him to find the cure and return to her.
I've never seen Dany be this queen-like. I think Emilia Clarke doesn't really deliver that well when she's supposed to be in these great moments, but here she was amazing, and I really like this scene. I think this was my favorite scene in this episode.
Oh, so you don't really like Emilia Clarke that much?
I don't dislike her, but I don't think she is among the best actors on the show, if you put it that way.
I think she does a great job, but sure, there are other people who does an even better job.
Yeah, here she is amazing.
I think she's amazing.
The solution, like, force Jorah to live.
Yeah, give him an order that he can actually do.
So do you think he has any chance of success at this?
Maybe he can find some red woman who can kill him and then bring him back or something. Or
if I was Dany, of course she comes from being a captive, but I would have given Jorah some sort of resource, like some coins or something.
Maybe he had that. Maybe that was understood or something.
Okay. But I think this was pretty good.
Yeah, well, Shireen got grayscale, and they brought in a bunch of healers, and finally someone was able to stop it from spreading.
Yes.
So maybe Yora can do the same thing. He can travel around and try and find healers. Like you say, it's going to take money, though.
Yeah, Shireen was rid of the grayscale disease, but she still had the damage from it. She still had the grey skin, etc.
But I think that Yora will be perfectly fine with that. He doesn't care if his skin looks kind of weird on his arm.
Yes, so let's hope he succeeds.
Yeah. Okay, let's move to the next scene. There where Tyrion and Varys and Missandei and Grey Worm are talking, and apparently there's almost peace in Marine right now.
Yeah, Tyrion's plan worked.
So maybe telling those other masters that they had to stop supporting the Harpies was the right thing, or maybe it's something else. We don't know what happened really, but
it seems like it is the masters, but we don't know.
But I mean, the Harpies are not gone; they're just taking a break.
Yeah, Harpy vacation.
Yeah. So then I wasn't sure what Tyrion was getting at here. It sounded like he wanted some kind of figurehead or something. We kind of see what I think we see what he meant in the next scene.
Yes. So let's go there.
Yeah, let's go there, and we have Tyrion and Varys and Kinvara, High Priestess of the Red Temple of Volantis, the Flame of Truth, the Light of Wisdom, the first servant of the Lord of Light.
She's the Red Pope, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
She's Melisandre's boss.
That would seem to be the case, although we have never heard Melisandre mention her. But
maybe Melisandre is a couple of steps down the ladder. So her boss reports to another boss, who reports to Kinvara, but Kinvara is the number one servant of the Lord of Light.
And she just drops this information that Daenerys is the one that was promised.
Yeah, that seems to contradict what Melisandre said.
Yeah, because she's with the Stannis and then Jon.
Yeah.
So I wonder how long Kinvara has been touting Daenerys as the one that was promised.
Yeah, we heard that priest say it at the beginning of this season. That the Lord of Light sent you the Mother of Dragons.
Yeah.
So, and they have been talking, they have been paying attention to her ever since Karth, right? There was a Red Priestess in Karth, so we don't know if it was a Red Priestess or not, but she sure looked like the one with the masked face.
Quaith. Yeah.
No.
But, well, we also saw Tyrion traveling through Volantis, and there were Red Priests there, or at least people preaching about Daenerys.
Yes. So the Lord of Light likes Daenerys.
Yes. Well, at least this priestess likes it.
Yep.
Melisandre is still with the Jon clan. I don't know if she knows about Daenerys or whatever.
Apparently, they don't have access to great communication in the Lord of Light Church.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, Varys is skeptical with this. Yeah, well, now he's supporting her, but somebody supported Stannis, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, we know why he's so skeptical, because of his experiences.
Yes, I mean, his castration experience was with magic rather than religion, but the two seem to be closely connected with each other.
Yes, and we have seen the Lord of Light do magical things.
And then Kinvara tries to win him over by talking about his castration and unnerving him.
I was mad at Varys here. Because she asked him, do you want to know what the voice said? Do you not want to know the name of the one who spoke? And I was like, Varys, say yes, I want to know this.
Who would not want to know this?
Yeah, and he was like, no.
But I've never seen him this unnerved. I don't think he's ever been this unnerved in any episode.
No, definitely. Even when he heard the alarm bells go off at the end of season 4, he just calmly stepped on the boat.
Yeah.
And we never seen him lose his nerve like this.
Yeah. That was maybe that's a message that something important is going on here.
Yeah, I like Kinvara. I want to see more of her and the Church of the Lord of Light.
I think we will see more of her.
Very good.
Yes. Okay, let's move on to back to Beyond the Wall, where Bran and Freya Draven and the other people seem to be sleeping?
Let's save that for the end and talk about the Wall first.
Okay, so there's a council of war at the Wall with Jon, Sansa, Brienne, Davos, Melisandre, Tormund, Ed.
Isn't this a very strange constellation for the Council of War?
Yes, I think so too, but these are the characters we know, not the characters that would be invited. Well, some of the characters make sense.
Yes, but Tormund is the one who holds all the power, yes, all the men.
Yeah, he's representing all the wildlings.
Yes, which are the only soldiers they have, because they're leaving people at the Wall.
Yeah.
So the Night's Watch is staying at the Wall. And Tormund just doesn't care, he only has eyes for Brienne. So he's like, Jon, you decide whatever, I'm just gonna sit here and do my flirty face. And it's not working.
So Tormund is he is following Jon then. So Jon is in charge of Tormund anyway.
Yeah.
But because this is one of my questions, who is really in charge here?
It seems that Jon is in charge just because he was resurrected and he's cooler than anybody else.
And Sir Davos is like, Jon is gonna blah blah blah, make everybody follow him and so on. But Sansa seems to think that she's in charge.
Yes. She does, because she's a Stark.
Yeah. So ruling by committee, or I don't know, it works when you're in a council of war, but when you're out on the battlefield, you have to have one leader.
Yeah, and I think that leader is still Jon.
Yeah, and when you come to when you go to other noble houses and try to rally them, you have to have one person that they follow and they swear fealty to and so on.
Yes. And what is Sansa doing here? First, when she met Littlefinger, she turned down the Knights of the Whale. She didn't want him to go north, which seems insane. Even if
that's
she's
an
mad.
Easy win. Yeah, because the Knights of the Vale probably has more power than all of the North combined.
Yes, so why wouldn't she want them there? Let's be mad at Littlefinger later.
Yeah.
Use his army.
I wouldn't trust him though, but I mean, yeah, I don't know what's going on. And then the way she then lies about the information about Brennan, the Blackfish, and the River Run.
Yeah, why is she lying?
And it's such a blatant lie. Yeah, I've been here for weeks now. By the way, I know this information because Raven arrived.
So I think what we should take away from this is that Littlefinger managed to make her distrust Jon, but there seems to be no reason for this.
He managed to have her lie to Jon.
Yeah,
that's
tricky.
That's not good. Yeah, that's tricky. So maybe his whole point was that he wanted to just sow dissent between them.
Yeah, so that he could rule the North and not the Stark.
But
yeah, I feel that the show, when it fast forwards Littlefinger's plans, just want us to think that, oh, he's very clever, but they're not showing it anymore. He just seems extremely lucky if this plan works.
Well, he has a teleportation device. That's very lucky.
Yeah, now we know that he has one.
Yeah. Anyway, they talk
also about the Blackfish.
Yeah.
If he now has managed to recapture Riverrun, the Tully forces are perhaps they are still they've been at war for a long time, but they were not massacred at the Red Wedding like the forces of the North.
Let's say so.
But how could he spare troops from Riverrun? He is
very good point.
Fighting the Freys and probably some Lannisters. So even Baratheon armies could be there.
Yeah.
So
he could be surrounded and outmanned by a lot. So
that seems like a really bad ally compared to the Knights of the Whale.
Yeah.
Who are not at war with anyone.
Yeah, and it might be that they need to send troops to Brendan the Blackfish to help him instead, to keep what he has. And even if they tell the Blackfish to come north, he has to pass by Moff Cailin, and that's where Littlefinger's troops are. So they can decide what's going to happen there.
Yes.
And then they have to go through Moff Cailin, which is really hard to get through unless you control the fortress. And the Boltons have that fortress, like Sam checked.
Okay, but she's going to send Brienne there to talk to the Blackfish, because a raven can't get past Winterfell. Only Littlefinger can get past Winterfell.
Or Brienne, but she can't risk a raven. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're going to send out Brienne, and who else? Just Brienne or Podrick, I guess.
I assume Pod would go with her, but we'll see.
Well, I wanted Thormund to go with her.
Thormund wants that too, I think. So let's talk about the map and the houses.
Yeah, an awesome map. But it really threw me off there because it looks like it. First, I think, well, where's the north? Where's the south? Oh, it's going east to west rather than north to south, if you know what I mean. The north is on the right-hand side.
That's evil.
Yeah, that's evil. And you have it's marked with the different houses, and you have these little stones with markings on them showing different houses. And
we saw this from Stannis earlier, so it seems like Davos just had Stannis, this kit.
Okay.
Or maybe they had this at the wall. They had 9,000 years to construct it, so...
Yeah. So they talk about the Karstarks and the Umbers and the Manderlys. That the Karstark and the Umbers are with the Boltons, but the Manderlys are still up for grab.
Yes, and that seems good. There should be a powerful house.
Yeah, and then they talk about other houses like the Glover, Mormont, Kerwin, Mason. I think he said Mason, but I'm not sure. I never heard of a Mason house in the north, but let's say it was that. And Hornwood and like 24 more.
Yes.
In the books, it's like 4 more, but sure, 24. Okay, so that makes sense. There are a lot of different houses, and together they make up a fairly good force. But still, yeah, Knights of the Vale is very, very, very many also. Well, we don't know if Littlefinger brought all of them or how many, but
there should be enough.
Yeah.
It's not House Mason, actually, it's House Mason.
Mason?
Yes, and it's an inside joke about a guy called Craig Mason.
Oh.
So when they made the pilot episode of Game of Thrones, it was totally crap. It was really bad. So they redid the pilot episode, and they did this after feedback from this Craig Mason guy, who's a writer who's a friend of the producers.
So he got his own house.
Yes, and they mentioned this house in season 5 because John got a letter from House Mason. And
I don't remember that.
And John said he never even heard of these people. So this is kind of a running gag, I think.
Oh, this is awesome.
So I don't think we need to care too much about House Mason.
Oh, okay.
Because it's an inside joke.
Well, let's go north of the wall then instead.
They're leaving Castle Black.
For somewhere, yeah.
And they are apparently going south, but
well, they're not going north.
They're going to some houses to try to rally them, or
yeah.
And of course, Ed stays behind then as acting Lord Commander. I still don't think he is the Lord Commander.
Yeah, I don't think there's been an election, so I think he's acting Lord Commander.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem to be aware of that either. But
well, he figures it out, I think.
I like that scene when he looked around and realized that, okay, these guys need a Lord Commander, so I better be the Lord Commander they need.
I thought that he looked around and was like, well, nobody else can be Lord Commander, it's just me.
Because Jon hanged them all. All the good candidates are dead.
And then he left. Yeah, that's the way to rule.
So Ed is the Lord Commander for the time being.
Yeah.
Okay, now off to the major scenes of the episode.
Yeah, we have first one scene there where Bran and the gang, they're sleeping after a long, hard day of surfing the web.
Yes.
And then Bran wakes up first, and he does what he's not supposed to do. He goes off on a solo adventure.
Is he really bored, or is he just eager for more knowledge, or why does he do this?
I think he's eager for more knowledge.
Yeah, so... And he seems to have no control of what he sees.
Yeah, or maybe he does. Maybe he wants to go back, because it looks like he's going back to that same place we saw earlier.
Oh, yes, of course. He wants to know more, but...
With the runestones and the weirwood tree, although now it's winter instead of summer, so it's not the same time.
So we don't know when this is. It could have been.
Yeah, it could have been yesterday or right now or a long time ago. We don't know.
Yeah,
or in the future.
A really long time ago.
Maybe it's in the future.
That's weird.
That's even weirder.
But great scene.
Yeah, awesome scene. And you see this army of undead just standing there. And then he sees the White Walkers just standing there. And this was from the trailer. From the trailer, you could see how he was standing up, looking at the Night's King. And we figured, well, he's just going to see him. He's not going to be there with him. The Night's King is not going to be able to see him.
But the Night
Boy, were we wrong.
Has some abilities.
Maybe he's a green seer too, then. Because he's able to grab him.
Yes, he does. And then he's marked. And then,
Mm-hmm.
then it's no longer safe in the cave.
Yeah, they are no longer safe. The time has come. For what? For you to become me. But am I ready? No.
Great
Oops.
exchange.
Yeah. But I would have liked Three-Eyed Raven to warn him more specifically. I mean, I know that he warned him to say, you can't do this, you can't go off surfing on your own, it's dangerous. That's kind of like saying, don't cross the street, it's dangerous to your kid. You have to say, well, if you cross the street like this, you're going to get crushed by a car, blah, blah, blah. It could have been better, more specific, I think, the warnings.
I think he knows. I think he knows that this was going to happen.
So then there's no point in warning him then?
No, because this needed to happen. This was the way it had always happened.
And the way it always will happen.
Yes. And I am also thinking that there might be deeper meaning to these words they exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Because I reacted to the recasting of Max von Sydow in episode 1, and that they had managed to give him a haircut very similar to Bran's.
Okay.
And I looked at the scene where they were walking about together, and they are about similar height.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, is the Three-Eyed Raven Bran? It's time for you to become me.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it could have that deeper meaning. So he's gonna then travel back in time or something at some point in the future.
Yes. Or
Okay.
Maybe if you are a fully powered green seer, you are living outside of time in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we need to address, I think, the name, the Night King, because the show has now officially said that it's the Night King, which is different from the book, which says the Night's King.
Yeah.
Like in the King of the Night. But here it is the Night King in the show. And they never address the legend of the Night's King, which is in the books.
Mm-hmm. Where the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch becomes the Night's King.
Yes, by dating a White Walker, pretty much.
Yeah, so it's a different story in the books there, yeah.
Yeah, and it definitely does not mix with this story, because there was no need to build a wall before they had created the White Walkers.
Mm-hmm.
So there couldn't be a 13th Lord Commander. So I think we should call him the Night King now, because that's the name the show is going with.
Okay, I'll try.
All right, so and it seems that the Three-Eyed Raven now is trying to prepare Bran, and by giving him like a massive upload of information here. So all the things he wanted to show Bran is now forcibly being downloaded into Bran's brain, which is why he's so paralyzed for the rest of this episode.
Yeah, so then later when the army shows up, he's not any use, so to say.
Yeah, they can't wake him up because he's just under too much mental pressure.
Yeah. Well, we see that Mera and Hodor is packing up their stuff, getting ready to leave.
Great conversation.
Yeah, like, do you want some bacon and eggs, Hodor? Fried in butter, Hodor.
He put a lot of sense into this Hodor's.
Yeah. And then suddenly Mira's like, oh, something is happening. And then she runs away and she runs outside and she sees
the mist from their breath. Because the cave is normally warm, but with the White Walkers nearby,
that's right. It
goes cold and the protection is gone.
Mm-hmm. That's why she runs outside, because she sees the breath, yeah.
Yes, and the Children of the Forest already knew this, but they didn't tell anyone. They were standing outside.
Yeah. So the army is outside, and then there's a nice big fight.
Yes, I love this. This was
on the outside. They're able to keep the undead away from the opening of the cave, at least by their burning bushes, but not the White Walkers.
No, the White Walkers could walk right through, but they don't really go in until the Whites have made a hole in the roof.
Yeah, they make the rabble take the first punch.
Yes. And that's probably good, because they know that the Children of the Forest have obsidian weapons that can kill them, which we see.
Had it been just, without the army of the undead, they might have lost.
And here I've come up with something. You know, when we saw the White Walkers in the first 3 seasons, they had no clothing.
Mm-hmm.
When they appeared at Hardhome, they were wearing this armor and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think they might have decided to wear armor as they were reminded that they could be killed when Sam killed the White Walker. And in this fight, we see a child of the forest stab a White Walker. And the armor protects the White Walker.
Yeah, so you have to stab them where they're unprotected, yeah.
Yeah, which Mira does then when she throws the spear into the neck of the White Walker.
Yeah.
Making Mira only the 3rd human alive to have killed the White Walker.
Yes, with Jon and Sam being the first 2 then.
Yes, but they are dying like flies. I don't think there are too many of the White Walkers. How many did we see in season 4? Like 12?
Well, we don't know if that was the total number of all the White Walkers in the world.
That's true. I've also read that another theory is that the White Walkers with armor are like the officers of the White Walkers, and these guys we saw in the first 3 seasons were like rabble White Walkers.
Yeah.
And that would make them more numerous, of course.
Or it's just that in the show they decided, wait a minute, we should put armor on them, they look cooler that way.
Yeah. So we have a couple of Children of the Forest dying.
Yeah, well, eventually I think all of them died.
Yes.
Or
do you think these were the last in the world?
I don't think so, but it's entirely possible.
Where
we don't know yet.
Others be hanging out if there were others?
Under some other weirwood tree in a cave somewhere?
Yeah, with another green seer, perhaps.
Maybe there's lots and lots of these caves with green seers and so on.
I'm really curious about the relationship between the Children of the Forest and the Three-Eyed Raven.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to see more of that. But then we have the first epic death. And it's summer.
Yes. All of a sudden summer didn't seem... Until that point, summer seemed invincible, but when there's like 100 undead, summer will die.
Yeah, but he died bravely. He just attacked them. He had managed to tear a White apart in the season 4 finale. So he was like, I can do this.
Yes.
And then he was like, I couldn't do it.
There was a noble death dying to protect his master.
Yeah, so now we're down to 2 dire wolves, Nymeria and Ghost.
Yes, although we haven't seen Nymeria in a long while.
We didn't see Ghost in this episode either, I think he wasn't with Jon when they left Castle Black.
Why didn't he bring Ghost into the Council of War?
Okay, so the fight continues. Mira kills that White Walker.
Yeah, and at some point they actually get Hodor going.
Yeah.
This was a little bit unclear here, what happened exactly.
I think the Three-Eyed Raven has sent Bran back to Ned's departure to become a ward of Jon Arryn in the Whale.
Yes.
And we see Ned's father, Rickard, telling him to some things. And we think that this is what's important. But of course it's not. It's Hodor that's important in the flashback. So Hodor awakes because he is connected to the flashback somehow.
Yeah.
And then they start going down that corridor to the emergency exit. In case of White Walker attack, go through the emergency exit. It has a really sturdy door, will keep out White Walkers for a while. So they go down. Leaf, the only child of the forest we've seen more than once, blows her grenade, reminding me of the scene in Aliens.
With Vasquez and Gorman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she dies epically after having like 2 lines. But then we get to the door itself.
Yeah. And here he holds the door.
Yes.
Hodor holds the door. And this was, of course, a big scene, a very dramatic payoff scene, if you know what I mean.
Definitely a payoff scene. I thought the first time I watched it, I thought it was super epic. That especially the way they shot it with this. The director of this episode was Jack Bender, and this is his first episode for Game of Thrones. He will make the next one as well. He did 38 episodes of Lost.
Oh, wow.
And has done Alias and some other famous show. And I really loved the directing in this episode. I think a lot of things were really nicely shot. And this scene in particular, then, of course, you got this connection to when Hodor became Hodor, and this sort of meta thing happening in both times at the same time. In a sense. And it seems then that Hodor's entire purpose with his life was to hold that door. And that there is some supernatural quality to him here. Of course, he has giant's blood. He is extremely strong.
Yeah.
But he does a pretty good job of holding the door. And we must assume, I think, that this was precisely enough for Mera with Bran on a sleigh to get away, which seems crazy because these whites should just catch up to them in 5 minutes.
Yeah, she's half the size of Bran. It's going to be really hard for her to carry him around.
You know what we missed? We missed the death of the three-eyed raven.
Oh yeah, rip him as well.
Yes, and he seemed to be very aware of that. And it was hard not to think of Star Wars.
Yeah. Which one?
Strike me down and I will come back. But I think we won't get three-eyed raven ghosts telling Bran what to do.
Yeah, that will be with more Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Warsy.
But the second time I looked at the scene with Hodor holding the door, I cried like a baby.
Oh, it got you more the second time?
Yes, it did. I was so... It was too much the first time, but the second time it was... I think amazing acting there on Christian Nairn's Hodor's. And Hodor as well. So good. Yeah.
Especially the old Christian Nairn Hodor. There were some scenes when he focused on his face there standing at the door and you could see the despair.
Yeah.
Awesome acting. Also the acting for earlier when he was acting with Mera and she was talking about bacon and eggs and whatever.
It's amazing
he's like,
how...
Hodor.
It's amazing how loved this character has become.
Yeah. And it's been around for so long, and we've been wondering for so long why he's saying Hodor.
Yeah.
And now we get the payoff. It's awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah. If I may then... I would almost like to leave it here, but I have to comment on something with... It doesn't... I felt there was kind of a sloppy writing here, because... Can you explain exactly what happened? Who warged into Hodor when?
I think it was Bran all along.
Which Bran?
Vision Bran.
So Vision Bran wargs into Hodor?
Yes.
But he seemed very confused when Hodor did. It didn't look like he was warging into Hodor in the vision.
No, of course he wasn't. But maybe he was... Physical Bran was warging.
So physical... But he seemed completely clueless to what was going on around him.
Yeah, so Vision Bran made physical Bran warg into Hodor, which made Vision Hodor also be warged into.
Wait, Vision Bran warged into real Bran, who warged into Vision Hodor?
Bran made physical Bran warg into Hodor, affecting both Hodors.
But Vision Bran seems so conscious of what's going on around him.
But he heard that hold the door thing and sort of started to realize what was going on.
Yeah, but they were talking. He was going Hodor before he was holding the door.
I don't know if we should go further in this discussion.
I understand what they were getting at,
If someone
But I just felt
explain that to us in the comments.
it just felt sloppy the way they did it, and then it felt like, okay, so if Bran is then waking up when he's on the sled being pulled by Mar out into the snow, and he's like walks into Hodor and makes Hodor hold the door, how selfish is that?
That's very selfish. So I think Hodor was holding the door by his own will, that he felt that this was the order he had been given when he was young.
So 20 years, 30 years ago, he gets the order to hold the door, and now he's doing it.
Yes.
Okay, can you at least agree with me that the writing wasn't completely top-notch here, if you know what I mean?
Okay, I'll give you that much. I still think the scene was amazing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And now we know that Bran can affect the influence the events of the past.
Yes, scratch whatever theory I had about him being just influencing the vision. He can actually change the past.
Okay, so now we know that Bran has the ability to change events in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But the past is already written, said the Green-Eyed Raven. Or the Three-Eyed Raven.
Yeah.
So it seems that Bran's action follow the Novikov's self-consistency principle of time travel. This is
What is
a
that?
thing put together by some physicists, in which it would be impossible to outright change events in the past, but it would be possible to set up stable time loops. So Bran actually didn't change history. This always happened. Bran was there at the time, and Hodor said Hodor because that had happened. So the time loop is stable.
Yeah.
That means that if you look at movies including time travel, we are not in the world of Back to the Future or Terminator, where time can actually change. We are in the world of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So, and this, if Bran has this ability, surely he has or will change time further. So now I want you, the listener, to think about all the seasons of the show and think about events where Bran could have influenced things happening. Do you come up with any?
I think we leave that to the listeners.
Yes. I'll get back with two, unless some listener comes up with them.
Okay, good.
So, there, it has been confirmed by George R. R. Martin that this is the reason Hodor's name is Hodor.
Yeah.
This scene will appear in Winds of Winter.
I think it will appear, but it will be somewhat different.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
Yeah.
And George R. R. Martin has also confirmed several other things from this season. It seems that the producers have gone off book much less than we thought.
Okay.
But there was an interesting event that I wanted to talk about. There was an author called Michael Ventrella. I don't know what he has written or how successful it is, but for some reason he was in the same house as George R. R. Martin.
It was same convention.
Yeah.
Right?
They were riding in elevators at the same time several times.
Yeah.
And George R. R. Martin was acting like an elevator operator.
Yeah.
And then he said, George R. R. Martin said that I always wanted to be an elevator operator if the writing thing hadn't worked out. Then the next time they met, this author guy, Ventrella, goes, I finally figured out why I have a character named Hodor. And George R. R. Martin goes, oh, what? And Ventrella says, I was thinking about your comment about wanting to be an elevator operator. It's clear to me now that Hodor is short for hold the door. And he wrote this in his blog in 2014. Yeah. And George R. R. Martin laughed and said, you don't know how close to the truth you are. Which seems like a very strange answer because he doesn't say yes or no to fan theories, right?
Yeah, this is very strange that he answered that way. Otherwise, he usually says, that might be it, we'll see. This was more like a yes. So it's very surprising. I didn't really believe this when I read it first because it was uncharacteristic of George R. R. Martin to answer that way.
think Mr. Ventrella's blog has had a lot of hits in the last few days. We'll include the link in the show notes to the blog post from 2014.
Yeah, you do that.
Pretty spot on.
Absolutely. But I wonder how many, is it like 5% or 10% that get it right? I mean, there's going to be so many people asking like, I know that Hodor is this because this. Like, hey, you don't know how right you are.
I know that Jaime Lannister is the Red God.
You don't know how right you are.
Yeah, maybe that's what he says all the time.
I know that Jaime Lannister wants to be Red God because you want to be a elevator operator. You don't know how right you are.
So, is that it for this amazing episode?
You got your hand caught in the elevator once. That's why Jaime lost his hand. You don't know how right you are.
It's all about elevators.
We're on express elevator to hell, going down.
Oh. So, we like you to give us iTunes reviews, as I said. We are on Hard Nerd Cafe on YouTube. Please subscribe. You can find us on iTunes. We have a Facebook page called Game of Thrones Chat. Anything else?
This was a great episode.
Amazing episode. I can't wait for the next one.
Yes.
Talk to you later.
Hodor.
Hodor.
Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of fucking Thrones, Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones. There are swords and things doing lightning tricks, and they'll take you out if you try to beat them. They'll kill you and stop you and make you Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones. In the lightning they come to take on everyone, and you know it's the Game of fucking Thrones. Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Tim and Patton.